Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back with another tips and tricks video for you guys. And in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can win more games of Fortnite here in Season 5 and what you can do to ultimately win every single game here in Fortnite. I'm going to be giving you guys my best tips and tricks when it comes to winning and how you can go on those long win streaks and win more games. And before we get into the video, if you guys could drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on my post notifications to get notified every single new video. And alright guys, let's get right to the video. Okay, so this gameplay here is a solo game I got just the other day. It is a solo game 11 kill win. And the reason I'm doing this video is because on stream, when I was live streaming, in back-to-back streams, I got a 5+ win streak in both of the streams I was in. So I want to be sharing with you guys a few tips that I was using in my streams to give me those wins. This game right here wasn't from the stream. For some reason, on my streams, the quality gets a little bit rough when I save the actual gameplay. So I'm going to use this gameplay here instead because the quality is a lot better on here. But anyways, let's get right to the tips. Okay, so if you want to win every single game, first you start off with choosing your landing location. And when you go for a landing location that you want to win every single game, you want to choose somewhere that's not with a lot of people, and you know you're not gonna have a big chance of dying. So you don't want to land places like Tilted Tower, maybe not even Retail Row, Salty Springs. You want to land somewhere with a little bit less people. Some places I would recommend going are the crates right above Retail Row, and also another really good place to land is the one right outside Snobby Shores. It's one with the big Viking ship. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there's plenty of rifts right there. That's why it's really, really good. So after you live up there, there's plenty of rifts. You can go wherever you want, or you can head north when there's a ton of woods, a ton of mushrooms. You can get max shield and everything. So you want to find a really good landing location, and you want to try to stay consistent. When it comes to the early game, you want to keep in mind, you want to try to get as many shields as you can. You want to try to get your shields up. That's the most important step, because when you go into that mid game, because if you don't have any shields going into that mid game, if you get pinched by one team or someone gets a lucky big hit on you, you're pretty much screwed. There's not much you can do. So always keeping your shield up and having a little bit extra shield into that mid game is definitely going to save you time after time. So after you pick that starting location, you land there, you loot up, you get extra shield that you need, and then you get the guns that you want. After that, it comes into the mid game, and what you want to do for that, after you get up that first spot, you want to look and see where the best next place to rotate to, and that's really important. What you want to do is you want to look at the circle, and based on the circle, and when it comes to the mid game, the circle tells you a lot. It's going to tell you exactly where people are going to come from, because if I'm landing somewhere like Paradise Palms and the circle is on the far other side of the map, I can make a pretty good estimate that most of the people I'm going to be running into are going to be on my side of the map, because those are the people who are going to have to move. And the people on the left side of the map where the circle is, they tend not to move very often because they don't really need to, because they're right in the middle of the circle. But if the circle's on the other end of the map, you can guarantee that you're going to run into a lot of people rotating towards the circle. And that's where you're going to have to be very careful not to run into too many people. And when it comes to winning a lot of games, you don't want to run into, 15, 20 people in that game, because more times than not, you're going to end up dying. So you don't want to run into that many people at the same time. You want to challenge enough people to get looted up. So you want to challenge enough people to get that max ammo, a really good loadout, and some extra shields that you're going to need in the late game. And that's what you want to do in the mid game. You want to challenge enough people to get looted up, but you don't want to go over the top and, go for a 15, 16 kill game, especially if you're trying to win, more consistently, trying to go on that win streak, trying to win every game. You don't want to be challenged a ton of people every single game. I would say a good number to shoot for is maybe 6, 7 kills, 8 kills tops in the game. And that's what I would say I was averaging during my streams, and when I was going on those win streaks, I would say about a 6 to 7 kill game was my average kill game. When it comes to going for that win, you don't want to be challenging people that have a clear advantage on you. You need to know in some situations it's not very smart to push them. And for an example, say if you're in the mid game and you see a guy on top of a hill camping in a base, more times than not, it's not worth pushing him, because it's going to cost you about 100 mats just to get up to him if they don't shoot at you. And a lot of times they're going to be spraying at you. You're going to be burning through a ton of mats, and that's just situations you don't want to push. So you always want to play mat conservative. You don't want to burn through all of your mats every single gunfight, because you don't want to get stuck with no mats. You always want to keep your mats high. So just understanding situations that sometimes you don't need to push. And there has been times in gunfights or in my streams where I've seen people and I could go push them, but I decide not to, because there's a chance I can get pinched, and getting pinched is probably the worst thing that can happen, because once you get pinched from multiple angles, you get kind of screwed over. And just situations like that, it's really hard to get out of, so you try to want to avoid any situations that you can get, in a pretty bad spot. So of course getting pinched, running into the middle of the open, probably not the best thing you want to do if you want to go for those wins and get on those win streaks. A huge part of what I believe of playing smart and going for those wins is that you need to play where the circle is going to go. So of course, if you look at it, if the circle's on the complete opposite side of the map and it's very far, it's one of those circles that are really far out, you can guarantee that a lot of people, it's not going to be just you, are going to be trying to rotate to the same area. So a lot of the times when you see that circle that's on the complete opposite side of the map, you can guarantee that on the edge of that circle, because as soon as it closes, there's going to be a really good number of people being right there at the edge, and that's not a place you want to be, because a lot of the times there are going to be people you're trying to fight outside the storm, people coming in from the storm, and people outside the storm. There's going to be people everywhere, so that's not the place you want to be. You already want to, if it comes to those circles that are really far out, you want to rotate as early as you can. And sometimes that I've noticed in some of my games where I've seen a guy that I can easily challenge, but I decide not to even try to push him at all, even though I know I could kill him. I just don't push him at all because I just want to play circle and not get screwed over by the circle and trying to fight a guy in a storm, because that's something you really want to avoid, is trying to fight somebody in the storm, because if they get 1 or 2 lucky hits on you, most of the time you're not going to have any time to heal up, and you're going to be stuck in the circle trying to fight a guy with low health, and it's just not a good situation you want to be in. And a lot of the times when that circle is pretty far and maybe you can kill one or two guys in the storm, the second you get out of the storm, there's going to be another guy out there just camping the edge of the circle, and by that point you're pretty much screwed, because you're going to have no health, and that guy's going to have 200 health camping in a base spraying into the storm, so you're pretty much screwed in that situation. So rotating early to the next circle is really important. Okay, so past the mid game, after you get shielded up, you should be in a pretty good spot. You shouldn't be in too bad of a spot. Going into the late game, what you want to do, it's really important that you play the edge of the circle, because that's where the least amount of people are going to be. When it comes to the end game, the people that you're going to be fighting are people that have been through the entire game, and a lot of them, unless they were camping the entire time, most of them are going to have pretty good weapons as well, and they're going to have a lot of shields and a lot of good stuff. So those people at the end of the game are probably going to be the hardest people to kill, because those are the people that are going to be stacked. They're going to most likely have a lot of mats, a lot of ammo. So these are the people that are going to be the hardest to kill. So what I would recommend doing if you want to win very easily in the late game is I would recommend not challenging or challenging the least amount of people you can in the late game, because in the late game those are the people that are going to be the most stacked and the hardest to kill, just because of the stuff they have. They're going to have scars, they're going to have shields, they're going to have a ton of materials. So those are the people that are going to be the hardest to kill, and getting pinched when you're trying to fight 2 people who have scars can be very difficult. And another thing to keep in mind, in the late game, a lot of people camp in 1x1s or like camp on top of big structures, just like this guy was here in my game. There was one in the base and then one guy jumped on top of him. I was like, in this game, I was like, screw it. Normally I wouldn't even do this. I was honestly just sit back. But in this game, I wasn't playing hardcore for the win, but normally I wouldn't push this at all. If I really wanted to go for the win, I wouldn't push this at all. I would stay close to the left side of the map, just because there is 4 people, so there's 3 people. I know there was the 2 in front of me, and so there's a solo, and that's what I have to be really careful about, because there's a solo somewhere that I don't know, and they could literally be anywhere. So challenging this gunfight can be kind of risky, because the solo can come out of nowhere and get that pinch on me. So this is where it has to be kind of careful. And a lot of times when it comes to the late game, if you want to go for those easy wins, if you play it slow enough, a lot of the times if there's 2 or 3 people left, they're going to be the ones fighting each other, and then that's the time when you want to jump in. When they're fighting each other and making each other low, that is the time you want to push. And that's the best thing you can do, in the best situation you can get into, is if you're trying to kill people and they're already fighting each other, because they're going to be low, they're going to be burning through their mats, burning through ammo, and that is the easiest time to kill them. And that's something that I always try to do in my games. And if you play slow enough, a lot of times eventually those teams are going to be fighting each other, and you're going to get a lot of easy kills just from that alone. And eventually it's going to come down to a 1v1 gunfight at the end. And the best tips, the only really tips I can give you, is to play the edge of the circle, because here in season 5 they made an update where some of the final circles are outside of the main circle, and as well are very fast circles, so it's very hard to catch up. So if you get stuck trying to go to that circle, a lot of times you're just going to get caught spraying by some dude camping in a base. So what you want to do is exactly that. Is you want to get to where the circle's gonna be, and then you want to set up your base and then spray them coming out of the circle, hit them with a little season 5 meta, get them hip to season 5, spray the mess out of them, get in that 1x1, get inside the circle and spray the mess out of them, and I guarantee you're going to be winning 90% of your games, and you're going to be winning a ton more here in Fortnite. Like I said, I went on a 5-game win streak, 2 streams in a row, and these are the tips that I was using. It's not every single tip, but there is a lot of tips in this video that I was using in my gameplay. And with that being said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys enjoyed, if you guys learned something, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on those post notifications to get notified every single new video, and alright guys, I will see you in the next video.